We'll get going. Good. Until a few weeks ago, this version of Flash was called Four Blinks, and it's been changed recently to be called Predictive Processing Flash. I'll explain a little bit about why that is, but first, Four Blinks didn't really mean anything. Does that make sense? It's a name that didn't kind of describe what it was about. So that's the whole purpose of the uh, of the name change. Yes, the recording, there'll be a recording. I'll put it in a accessible but yet not open space on YouTube that you'll be able to just go to and you'll be able to go to and see. I'll send another MailChimp thing around that has the link to that video tonight. Okay, good. Excellent. All right. Um, good. First of all, how are you? How are you? What's your Are you thumbs up? Are you thumbs sideways? We struggle. We're struggling. All right. Um, can we start with a little grounding? Because we really kind of do need to be here or be here enough so that stuff has a place to land. So I invite you, if you need to, go get whatever you need for your candle or your whatever you need for your sense of smell and taste. And again, I ground using, Christmas's leftover peppermint chapstick. So, that's how I'm going to do it. So if you need to get something, go run get it. And if you have a drink, you have a lot of what you need for this exercise. So excellent. Um, all right. I invite you, right? I invite you. We're just going to check our senses a few seconds each one. So I invite you to look around your current room, notice whatever you see. Notice if you were to touch that object, would it be hard or soft or some other texture? Okay, good. If you have a piece of furniture near you, just touch it. Notice, is it warmer, cooler, or the same temperature as your hand? Okay, good. I'm going to be very quiet. Notice whatever you hear in order of loudest first. Okay, good. If you have something near you that has a smell, feel free to engage in that. And if you have something near you that has a taste, feel free to engage in that. Good. How was that? Good. That's one of our four required resources in Flash. So look at that. We're already a quarter of our way in that part of the process. Excellent. Good. People have volunteered to be assistants. So people that have assistant before their name, they're here to help out. Um, you're welcome to put your questions in chat. Please try to not blow up chat because then everybody's watching chat and nobody's attending to the content that we're covering. So if you have questions, especially related to the content that we're covering, you're welcome to put that in chat. If the assistants have an answer, they may give that or they may let you know that it's coming. Let's try to not do much with case stuff in chat because we haven't let us teach the material. We're going to spend about 2 hours teaching the material. And then the last hour, we're going to practice this together. I'm going to walk you through something. And you can practice something relatively small, right? But you can practice this and see how it works yourself. Okay. And this is the beginning of the conversation. I do free consultations twice a month. I'm probably going to do 4 of them this month, just so that you can start bringing your questions as you go to try to practice this. And with clients, you can bring your questions and get those questions answered in those free consultation groups. So thanks to LaDonna, Marina, and Katana for helping out. So thanks for coming. With potentially 400 people, I'm like, uh-oh, I need chat help. I need like help. I need you to help me. So they volunteered to help. And those of you that are really like going through this super difficult with your clients, um, I think there are people all over the place that are trying to figure out what we can do to help. So, okay, Flash itself is very, very strange, right? It's very strange. And if you haven't done Flash, you probably haven't done in trauma work the two elements of it. So, if I were to let me contextualize this a little bit. If I were to say rumination, 99% of people would go, yeah, I do that, right? You know what I mean? It's the many things are pretty numbing. Oh, I do that. Dissociating me, I do that. You probably haven't done these two things that make up the core of Flash if you haven't done Flash before. And the first of the things that we're going to do is when we identify a memory, we look at that memory extremely quickly to get the tiniest little bitty piece of it, right? And whatever you may think that is, it's probably faster, right? Because if it hits your body, you looked at it too long, right? We're going to look at that memory so quickly that if in the memory, your father's like, you're so stupid, right? We're just getting the yuck, just one, not one syllable, one piece, one little tiny bit, okay, at a time. So we're working on the memory a tiny micro slice at a time. And what's the challenge with that is that trauma wants to come into the room like Kramer from Seinfeld, right? It wants to just explode into the room, right? So this takes a little bit of practice. We're going to practice it a little bit. The other thing that we do is we kind of push it out of our awareness, that little piece of the thing. We're not thinking about it. We're not working on it. We're just, we're just pushing it out of our awareness. We're not feeling it. We're not thinking about it. We're not making sense. We're not seeing what else it connects to. We're pushing it out of awareness so that all of awareness can be available for the part that comes next, which is we're going to be watching something funny, distracting, engaging on YouTube. Are we going to be dancing, or we'll be listening to our favorite Spotify playlist, not your breakup playlist, right? Not your angsty 13-year-old in your bedroom Pink Floyd playlist, or whatever it is, right? Your get up and dance anthem. We got this power anthem playlist, right? Um, so that combination of things kind of makes up the core of Flash. Micro activation combined with repeated back pleasant experiences that are demonstrating to your predictive mind that that little piece of the memory isn't happening right here because it's not happening in your body, it's not happening in your nervous system, and then your predictive mind generates prediction error. And some of those prediction errors update that little bitty tiny piece of the memory and let your brain realize that little piece of the memory is over. So the other thing that we do when we microactivate is we do something different. And this isn't well represented in the memory research. Memory research really strongly implies that a memory is in working memory or it's not. Almost like a memory is a bowling ball that's in working memory or it's not. Does that make sense? And what we do, the metaphor in Flash is it's not a bowling ball at all, it's a beanbag. And what we're doing is we're working on this memory one bean of the beanbag at a time. Okay? And you know what one bean of a beanbag is? It's not that heavy. And even if there's a lot of heat in that memory, it's not that hot, right? It's just one little bitty tiny frame of something. And even if it's difficult, it's usually small enough to send away. And if it's not, we have 4 resources to help you manage the distress that does come. So Flash itself was developed by an EMDR therapist named Phil Manfield and was written up in 2017. And it was understood as something you could do in EMDR therapy to take heat out of memories. And even if you're not an EMDR therapist, you can probably appreciate the idea that who wouldn't want to work with a memory that's a 2, 3, 4 out of 10 instead of a like 8, 9, 10 out of 10. So Flash was this strange thing that emerged in the EMDR universe that let you take a lot of heat out of memories. But what we found is that there are ways to do it well. And when you do it well, it just resolves them. And this version I'm teaching you is a way to do Flash well, to fully adaptively permanently resolve memories, individual memories, almost all the time in a single session, probably 19 out of 20 times. So that sounds pretty darn helpful if your client's doing what you're asking them to do. And if they're not prepared to do this, we're not doing it. So there is preparation, a little bit of preparation that goes into this. So that's Flash in a nutshell on the very, very 40,000 foot view. Of course, it's more complicated than that as you get a little bit closer and a little bit more detail. So on page 4 of the material, page 4, this is an overview of the steps in this version of Flash. So step 1, what we do is we're in step 1 and step 2, we're developing the resources that are going to serve like the chimney that's going to allow us to do this work without risking burning your house down, right? So the 4 resources that we're developing in step 1, and one of them is container. And if you're an EMDR therapist, it's easier to train people. Just since this is the first probably audience that's mostly not EMDR therapists, it's easier to train people in Flash that are not EMDR therapists than it is to train people who are. Because EMDR therapists have a very specific intuition about how to do trauma work, and it's completely opposite Flash. So if you came here thinking that this is like, EMDR is like an orange, and then like Flash is like the mandarin orange, it's not. If Flash is an orange, if EMDR is an orange, Flash is like a kitten. Does that make sense? There's like nothing, not even an orange kitten, like a gray kitten, right? There's nothing that understanding one is going to help you understand the other. Okay? So even though this version of Flash has a container, it can be as simple as this. Do you mind just copying me? Just do that. Send it away. Do you see even that motor movement? Do you know what it sends the message? It sends the message, that little piece of the memory that I just saw when I looked at the memory super, super quick. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not feeling it. I'm not ruminating. I'm not like seeing what else it connects. So no, it's moving away from me. So that's one of the big things in Flash is that, especially in this version, the little piece of distress we just activated is always moving away from you. And if you're a somatic practitioner, you may be like, Tom, I spend all this time helping people get in touch with their bodies, and I am too. But we're here to learn an apocalypse skill, right? We're here to learn we don't have 9 months to get people that are not in their bodies in their bodies. We need skills that work today, tomorrow, that are going to work, Thursday of next week. So I'll also say there's 167 other hours in the week when we can do whatever you want to do. And if you know what I mean, if you want to ruminate, if you want to, whatever, you want to catharsis it, you can do it. But in Flash, no. Okay. So we develop a container, and we'll walk you through doing that in a more formal way in a little while. The other thing that we do is that you've already guessed it, that if we're looking at a memory real quick, sometimes just thinking about looking at a memory, boom, causes it to show up in your body. And guess what? If Flash is working because your brain is not experiencing that memory, if that memory is in your body, that activation in your body from that memory is a problem. Okay, so if there's body-based activation, there's a resource called ShopVac, which is a handheld vacuum. Then we just, wherever that distress is, we vacuum it out really quickly. And now our ShopVac canister is our container, and then it goes away. Make sense? We'll review that resource in a little while, but the core resources are in the step one are the container, which is a box where we're just going to throw whatever in and send it away, or you can even do that, or we're going to have a shop vac where we quickly vacuum distress out of the body so that your predictive brain can realize it's not happening. Because if it's happening in your body, it is happening. Okay. Develop the calm scene. Again, calm scene is not the correct word. It might as well be pleasant scene, engaging scene, funny scene, beautiful, distracting, warm, right? Any of those things. And I really want you to, if you can, we're going to try to find a YouTube video, something that's so funny that if it were accidentally playing on your phone, you look down, it's on your phone at one of your clinical meetings, you might burst out laughing. It's just so funny you can't not laugh. Some people use 100 most beautiful national parks in the world. It's just a beautiful, beautiful scenery. Some people and clients, you have clients that say, well, what do you like? I hate people. And I'm like, well, that's not what I asked. I know that you hate people. What do you like? I love golden retrievers. Okay, let's see if we can find a YouTube video of golden retrievers jumping up and down, chasing tennis balls in fields of hay. Right? Wouldn't that be fun? Or those of you that like kids, we need to ask. You need to really engage your client. And again, you got to ask. Do you like those baby videos? You know what I mean? The baby laughing videos, or even the AI. It's gonna date itself. We're not gonna be that funny in a few months. But oh my gosh, those AI babies that talk crap about their parents, isn't that just hilarious? Or people when they dress up their the dogs in costumes, they dress them up like a chihuahua in a waiter outfit, and they're holding little bottles of champagne. So whatever it is, my favorite calm scene that I ever had with a client was they bring their favorite deli sandwich to session, wrapped in deli paper, an actual deli sandwich. Assessed for disordered eating, but can you imagine a bubbly hot pizza coming out of the oven? Like with all your favorite ingredients on it. And can you notice that? So again, your favorite deli sandwich, the first few rounds we're doing this, they're just crinkling the paper, right? And then picking up the sandwich and smelling it. And yes, knives in session, whatever, cutting it into little chunks and then literally consuming their pleasant scene while processing childhood trauma. Okay. So again, it can be your favorite Spotify playlist, your dancing playlist. You can be, when you're doing this, what I invite you to do, if you like dancing, put on your music, put on your favorite Spotify playlist, be off camera or be on camera. We don't care. Be, be wherever you need to be and dance. Just dance. And I'll guide you through Flash while you're dancing. Or if you have a cat on your lap, you can pet your cat and that can be your calm scene. If you like them, that's why we ask. Remember I said, do you like children? I say, hey, do you want to use your dog as the calm scene? No, I hate him. He bites me and he poops on my shoes. No, I don't want to use my dog. So I'm like, okay, well, we're going to find something. We'll find something, right, that we can use. So in a little while, I'll have you find a calm scene, a pleasant scene, engaging scene. Again, it can be highlight clips from The Office or Parks and Rec or whatever your favorite show is. Okay. The other resource that we do in step two is we teach sensory grounding because we're going to have people really quickly look at memories, but we're under no illusion that that memory might grab them and pull them in. And when it does, that's only a catastrophe if you don't have grounding skills in place. So again, container, shop vac, calm scene, which we're going to outsource to YouTube. Why can't my calm scene be imaginary? As you'll see, I'm only giving you 3 or 4 seconds to be in it. You can't make it easily in time, right? So we want your calm scene to be outsourced. Okay, good. And then, yeah, calm scene, and then sensory grounding that we've already always done. So when my clients come to session, we do flash. Part of what we've done in grounding is we figured out which of our essential oils or which of our, grounding tools we're going to have. And the next session, I just have that out for them, right? Just kind of like a, I don't know, like a mint on a pillow. We thought about just a little bitty thing to let you know I'm prepared for the work that you need to do today. Okay. Okay. Those are our 4 resources. Okay. Now, step 3 is where we select the memory. Okay. We're going to select the memory, but we don't want to set it on fire, right? We don't want the client to tell us a trauma narrative. Remember, imagine this is the memory. It's in your brain where trauma is. We want to point at it, but if you start telling me much about it, what happens? Right? It's going to like show up here. And I'm trying to bring this in a bean at a time. So if the client does tell you a lot about it, we may need to ground before we actually go into the processing. So ideally, in step 3, we're selecting but not activating the memory. Okay. And maybe you knew before this session started what the specific memory is that they want to work on, right? Or maybe we line it up in session. And what I'm going to ask you is there a memory you'd like to work on today? Is it an individual memory that happened at a particular place and time? And do all parts of you think working on that memory is a good idea today? Good, check. Yeah, good. All right. Push it out of your awareness, look at a ceiling, blank it out. Let me know when it's gone. See what we just did there? We didn't talk about it. We didn't explore it. We didn't worst part it. We didn't explore thoughts. We didn't explore emotion. We didn't anything. We just pointed at it and then pushed away. Okay. That's step 3. Okay. Step 4 is we've identified the memory. Now I'm going to say, load up your calm scene. Load up your calm scene and your press and play. And that video can just play the whole time in session. You don't have to pause it. Whoever's guiding you will just talk right over it. You may need to turn the YouTube volume down a little bit if it's a little bit loud, but I'll just talk right over it when I'm guiding you. And if it's annoying, if it's too much sensory input, client can absolutely pause it when we do our little check-ins. But you're in your YouTube video or you're in your music or whatever about 30 seconds at a time. And you're just in it. You're just moving, you're just smiling, you're just in it. You're watching those puppies jump up and down or whatever it is. Except about every 5 seconds, the therapist is saying the word blink. Okay. And when the therapist says the word blink, you as the client blink for about half a second. Okay. Close your eyes, open them, blink about half a second. Okay. Or you can blink 2 times, blink really quickly. Both of those 2 times done in about half a second. You can also blink 3 times, blink. That takes a little bit longer, or you can blink 4 times. Thus the 4 blinks flash. Okay. But I want all the blinks to be done in under 1 second. Why? Because I want you to go back into your calm scene. So what we're doing is load up your calm scene. I wait 5 seconds after you tell me you're there, and then I say blink. And then you blink, and then wait another 5 seconds, and then say blink. Another 5 seconds, blink. Another 5 seconds, blink. And then I wait 5 seconds to get your last exposure to the pleasant scene. And then I say, good, how did that go? Were you able to find your way into, you keep finding your way back into that calm scene, even though I kept pulling you out of it? Okay. And the clients usually, y'all have tried mindful exercises that took a little while to get into, haven't you? Just took you a little while to get into them. We're going to repeat our calm scene with blinks the first time we're doing it in a session, just to really make sure that calm scene is working, because we're about to check, we're about to get a bean out of the bean bag of our trauma memory. So I want to really make sure this calm scene is working, because that's where you're going to be 80–90% of this session. Okay. Now, what are the blinks doing? In this version of Flash, the blinks split your 30-second exposure to your calm scene into 6 individual 5-second exposures. Okay, let me give a concrete example of that. Okay, imagine I'm your calm scene. So watch me. Do you see what just happened? If that was a blink, I went away. It's a purposeful motor movement. I went away and now I'm back. Your brain's recording that as a new experience. Okay. And if you are like, wait a minute, Tom, if all we're doing is disrupting the calm scene, why do I have to blink? Why can't I look across the room at a doorknob for half a second and then turn back and look at my video? You can. You do not have to blink. Okay? You do not have to blink. And the way we're going to practice this in a little while is I'm going to have you write down on a sheet, I'm going to have you write down the numbers 0 to 9 randomly. And instead of saying blink, what you're going to do is you're going to stop looking at your video. You're going to glance at that sheet and you're going to find the number and then you're going to look right back at the video. So we're not, and again, if you want to blink because you've been hurt by numbers, some people have been hurt by numbers. So if you want to blink, when I say a number, you just blink. You just blink and then go right back into it. But the point is, the blink split your 30-second exposure into 6 individual 5-second exposures. And one of the things that Flash teaches us is that it's not the length and the beauty and the relaxedness of your pleasant scene that matters. It may be the sheer number of exposures to it. So the blinks generate hundreds and hundreds of positive experiences in a single session, back to back, using the same pleasant stimuli. Okay. And I've dismantled this in Cleveland. And again, I'm doing research in Cleveland this year. You know what happens when you don't blink at all in Flash? The memory still resolves. It just takes 2 hours. Do you know why? Because instead of your calm scenes being 5 seconds long, they're 30 seconds long. And it takes 2 hours instead of 30 minutes for that memory to resolve, because it takes longer to get to the hundreds of exposures that the blinks are generating. Sensible? Okay. So again, what do the blinks do, or what does looking away do? It generates a new exposure. It generates a new experience that's showing your brain that little piece of the memory that you just brought into working memory isn't happening right here, right now. After we do that, we do the first time we're in step 4, we do 2 rounds in step 4, right? Okay, good. How did that go? Good. Let's do it again. Load up your calm scene, blink, 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 5 seconds apart. Good. How did that go? Good. And now we're ready to go. So what I do in step 5 is I say lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this millisecond, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. Let me know when it's gone. So see what we're doing? We're like doing, so here's what I invite you to do. If your wrist is bad, don't do this. If your shoulder or elbow aren't good, don't do this. But I invite you, let's pretend like this is a door. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at that memory. We're going to open and close that door so quickly. Okay, way too slow. Zombies are going to run straight through that door. You got to do it 100 times faster. Okay, good. Faster, way too slow still, right? Yeah, that quick, right? So blindingly fast. So let me give another example. Those of you, anybody here at a desk, okay? Does the desk have a drawer? Can you open and close that drawer so quickly that you only see one thing? Try it. You probably saw about 8 things, didn't you? Do it again so quickly that you only see one thing. Do you see how we have to practice this? Because you know what we want to do with trauma? We want to hold that door open until it wallops us. That's too long. That's way too long. Does that make sense? You want to just see something that looks like it might be distressing. And then you want to close the door and catch that and send it away. So what we're doing, it's like a hot skillet with a wet finger. See what we're doing? That's it. I mean, if you're doing it any longer, especially in the first handful of rounds, man, you're going to overactivate, and then we're going to have to use one of our resources. So overactivation is inevitable, but it's also a problem. Does that make sense? So that's why we really have to have these resources in place, because if you overactivate, it's a problem. So again, step 5, lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this millisecond, catch it, contain it, send it far away. Let me know when it's gone. Okay, see what we did there? When it's gone, we go back to step 4, load up your calm scene. Let me know when you're there. Now we're in a loop, step 5, step 4, step 5, step 4, over and over and over. And we're doing this probably 40 minutes, 30 minutes, 35 minutes. We're doing this until the client says, we say really quickly, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing, catch it, contain it, send it away. They say, I'm having a hard time finding what's distressing. We've also noticed that it's taking them longer to do it. Does that make sense? What used to be a fraction of a second, we say, think about the bad memory, catch it, contain it, and they're like, and then they're doing it, right? Do you know what that means? That means they've already digested a lot of it. That means they have to start to look. And then when we see that it's taken them a long time to find what's distressing, we can also say, hey, let me know when you're having a hard time finding what's distressing in the memory. And then the moment they do that, we exit our step 5, step 4 loop, and now we're going to our step 6, step 4 loop. And in step 6, what we do is we say, now I want you to play that memory, one piece, one frame at a time, and let me know with one hand the moment you find the first little bit of distress, and we're going to contain it with the other. So the moment I see the client raising their hand, I'm saying, catch it, contain it, send it far away, let me know when it's gone. Okay, so what we're doing in step 6 is we're trying to find the first little piece of debris that we've left in the memory. 99% of the time, there's debris that we've left in it. So we want to find it. Okay, and as soon as they find it, we catch it, contain it, send it far away, and then we calm, scene, blinks. Another round with calm, scene, blinks. Okay, good. And then once we do our round of calm, scene with blinks, do you know what we do? We say, when you return to that piece of the memory that just had distress in it, is there any distress in it in this moment? Yes, a little bit. Catch it, contain it, send it far away, let me know when it's gone. Calm, scene, blinks, blink, 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 blink. How did that go? Good. That piece of the memory that just had distress in it, is there any distress in it in this moment? No. Play it forward. Let me know when you find the next piece of distress. Got it. Okay. Okay. Okay, good. Question in chat. Are the clients open when thinking about their calm scene? I don't want them thinking about their calm scene. I want them watching something that's the calm scene is not imaginary. Okay, because remember, I'm only giving you 4 seconds in it. Now, if you're listening to your music, your eyes can be closed. If you're listening to your music, your eyes can be closed. And when I say a number, or in a different version of Flash, when I say blink, you just open your eyes, look at that sheet, find that number, go right back in, close your eyes and go right back in. So your default can be eyes closed. You open them, do something, and then eyes closed, go back in. It's kind of like an inverse blink, and it works just as well. Okay. So we're digesting pieces of this memory until you get to the end of the memory. Okay. In step 5, are you looking at one piece? Yes, our goal is to get one piece out of the memory. And how are we doing that? We're doing that by looking at the memory lightning fast. If you look at a movie lightning fast, there's not time for the video to play. There's just one little piece, right? And it's whatever piece comes. So in Flash, when we're in our step 5 and 4 loop, if the memory is this big, this piece comes, that piece comes, that piece comes, this piece comes 5 times. And then that piece comes, and then this piece, and then this piece that came 5 times, it comes 2 more times. In whatever order that the nervous system wants it to come, that's the order that it comes. I'm not telling them what part of the memory to think about or anything. It's not until we get to step 6 that I'm orderly. Yeah. What would a small piece of a memory be? I see his face, right? And he's mad. That's what gets contained. Or I'm hearing something, and then what I'm hearing, I put that in a box and send it away. Right? So it's whatever in the memory. Or I have a little bit of anxiety. I'm going to try to catch that anxiety and send it away. Or if it's that anxiety's in my body, I'm gonna vacuum it out real quick and send it away. Yeah, good. So we do this digesting each piece of the what's left of the debris in the bad memory until you get to the end of the memory. Then when you get to the end of the memory, we turn up your sensitivity and you play it again. We're looking for like 0.5s. We're looking for any little debris that we've left. And clients will often go, oh, there's a little more. We're like, no, that's good. Catch it, contain it, send it far away. Let me know when it's gone. Good. Calm scene blinks, dot, 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 dot. Right? Go back that piece of the memory. Is there any distress in it in this moment? No. Play the memory forward. I just got to the end of the memory. Good. Go back, play it again. Let me know when you find the first piece of distress. No, it's gone. I have a client that's in her 70s. We've been doing Flash through the phone for several years. I wish you could hear her. She says, I believe we've done another one. Right. And this is like major Lyndon Johnson era trauma, right? It's major, major, major difficult trauma. So, yes, is it important to use your hand? If your hands and elbows are healthy, the motor movement, right? The motor movement sends the message. I'm not thinking about this. I'm not ruminating about it. I'm not trying to figure it out. I'm not feeling it. I'm not any of those things. Okay, good. So, um, so yeah, that the motor movement can be helpful, but we're not trying to control you either. You know what I mean? It's like if you don't want to do that, you don't have to, but it's helpful, right? It's helpful. Good. That's the overview, very, very quick overview of this version of Flash. And if you're like, I still don't know what the heck we're doing, that's okay. We're about to talk about working mechanism, and then we're going to go through each of the steps more slowly. Okay. So, page 5. Okay. Yeah. So, first of all, a question in chat that this may feel dismissive for clients, that this kind of like sending it away or whatever. We would have already gotten consent from clients to work in this way. Okay. So if clients really, really want to feel it, they want to catharsis it, You know what I mean? And by the way, let's back up and reflect this back to you. Do you have a memory anywhere in your nervous system that if I say you can resolve that completely without distress tonight, you may be like, oh, hell no. I want to get mad. I need to get mad. You may have parts of you that want to like really, really feel this and catharsis this. That's not flash. Does that make sense? So we're going to let you catharsis that in another therapy or another. We're just going to talk therapy. We'll do whatever around it. That's not flash. Your parts need to consent to working this way. Yeah. Yeah. Good. The assistants are making questions. They're kind of keeping track of questions, and then they'll bring those up. They'll bring those up when we do our Q&A. Okay. So, and I'm going to stop in a little while and ask questions, but I want to talk about working mechanism first, because many of us, many of us have been endlessly trained in triune brain. And I've trained hundreds and hundreds of therapists in triune brain model, limbic brain, brainstem, limbic brain, brainstem, neocortex. It was a great model, but it was invented by a guy born in like 1912. Do you know what that means? I mean, this is cutting edge vertebrate brain evolutionary research from the 1950s. You think we've learned some stuff about what a brain is in, just in the last, I don't know, the last 70 years? Absolutely. From comparative genomics to, I mean, we can really like see the flow of information in the brain in the way that we never really, really could before. So you didn't come here, if you love triune brain, we didn't come here to like give triune brain's eulogy, but I'm telling you, we need to find ways of explaining trauma that can't be easily disproven by your clients with 9 out of 10 of the first results that come up in a Google search, right? Because it's just not. So we're learning an enormous amount about the brain. Neuroscience is starting to organize around this idea of a predictive brain, of a brain that perception isn't what we've always thought it was, right? We have a model of ourself in the world based on everything we've been through. And your brain makes predictions based on that model. It's guessing. It makes guesses deep in your brain about what's about to happen. And those guesses, large numbers of them, potentially hundreds of thousands of them a second, are flowing from deep into your brain down toward the sensory structures of your brain to be compared with what your senses are pulling in. And then when there is a mismatch between prediction and the sensory information that's actually coming in the present, prediction error results. And when your brain encounters prediction error, it has the opportunity to do two things. It either generates a new cascade of revised predictions, or it updates the model of that you have of yourself in the world. Okay, so if you're walking in the fall and you go like this because your brain, some part of you made predictions that that thing on the ground is a snake. Okay, and then you actually look down and you see that it's a stick, right? After that, your body is still flooded with the consequences of that prediction, but you're no longer confused that it's a stick. Does that make sense? So even in that place, your brain made predictions, prediction error resulted. And now I know that's a stick and not a snake. And after a little bit of time, my body's going to be responding as though that's a stick and that's a snake, because now my brain is on top of those other predictions, is making revised predictions. Oh, that's just a stick. It's not going to bite you. Sensible? So what we're doing in Flash is we're bringing a tiny piece of the memory into working memory, and then we're sending it away, right? We're lightly touching it. And you know what happens in a predictive mind when you bring something into focus? Your brain has to make predictions about it. And you know the most important prediction I want it to make is that it is over. That thing that you're bringing in is over. And what is the evidence that it's over? Golden retrievers, bubbly hot pizza, funny children. Our brain has these elements to construct our reality. It has the generative model of yourself in the world, everything you've ever been through. Okay. It has predictions. It has your sensory information, and it has prediction error. And it has precision weighting, which is where is your brain looking in all of this flow of information? Where is your brain looking, basing its decision making on? That's complete, almost entirely unconscious. If your brain is making hundreds of thousands of predictions a second, you bet that's unconscious, right? But you know what we've learned is that where you put attention shapes the predictions that your brain needs to make. So we just brought a tiny piece of the memory into working memory. We send it out of awareness, and then you're having an experience, not once, not two times, but six times in 30 seconds over and over and over and over. That is demonstrating to your brain that those predictions, oh, this isn't safe, this may not be happening right now, is over. Okay? So remember that we're not updating the memory right now. We're not updating the memory. All we're updating is a tiny bean of that beanbag. We're updating a little bitty tiny piece of it. And you know what a single bit of information is in the context of everything you've been through? It's not that hard to change. If you give your nervous system the right type of sensory disconfirmation. And then the next bean, and then the next bean, and then the next bean. Yeah. So again, yeah, good. So we'll talk about those questions. So over and over and over and over and over. Good. So this idea isn't crazy, right? This idea isn't crazy. If you're familiar with Bruce Ecker, it's kind of what Bruce Ecker says. Bruce Ecker says you want to change it, want to update something, you need to activate it and then have your client sit with an experience that disconfirms it. Okay? So that's Bruce Ecker's coherence therapy. By the way, we all do this, right? You don't have a bat in your office and you beat the crap out of your clients. Does that make sense? Why? Because we understand that part of what's going to heal them is the way our nervous system is holding them, right? Part of what's healing them is the disconfirming experience that's happening right here, right now in the interaction of our nervous systems. Who here does parts work? Okay. Isn't parts work relational work, where parts of us have relational experiences with other parts of us that are different than the learning and the trauma? Parts work is experiential learning. Okay. EMDR, we notice, yes, all this distress we notice is congruent, but healing happens when the difficult stuff in EMDR starts to connect with adaptive stuff. Do you know what difficult stuff connecting with adaptive stuff is? It's prediction error all day long. Does that make sense? Exposure therapies don't become transformational until the client's experience of the exposure is different than the expectation. Then it becomes something that they can leverage. But endless flooding is never going to heal you if it remains only flooding. Sensible? Parts work, somatic work, giving you opportunity to have experiences that literally demonstrate to your nervous system that you're not as stuck as you feel. Okay. EMDR 2.0, it's this crazy stuff out of Europe. I mean, EMDR 2.0, they activate the heck out of you and they distract you from that activation. Okay. That may be taxing working memory, but I guarantee you it's generating prediction error because the distractions that you're doing are distracting the predicted effective sequela. People are laughing. You just activated the heck out of them and you say, jump left, jump right, divide by three, add four. You know what I mean? Think about this, right? Do this taxing task. People are laughing. They're having fun. So what I say is that EMDR 2.0 compared to Flash, EMDR 2.0 is like the Ozzy concert when he's like biting the head off a rodent stuff. I mean, it's EMDR 2.0 is like off the chart. Flash is like an Indigo Girls concert. Does it make sense? It's the same thing, just totally different. You know what I mean? Totally different genres, right? So it's music, but it's completely different ways of doing it. So if you're interested in predictive brain stuff, check out Andy Clark's The Experience Machine. Andy Clark's The Experience Machine um, is a pretty good summary of where many branches of neuroscience are going. And by the way, if you think it's just perception, it's not. I use the exception of I use the perception as a case, but model, prediction, prediction error, and precision weighting. This isn't just perception, it's language, right? It's learning of all types. It's how we gain learning. It's it's all of the allostatic things that our body does, sodium regulation, temperature, all of those things seem to be governed by model, prediction, prediction error, and precision weighting. So what that means is this idea that seems to be what a brain is across all of the things that it does. And if that's what a brain is, maybe therapy should consider and treat that brain. Does that make sense? Rather than a brain that's got a 150 million-year-old limbic brain running 150 million-year-old software. Okay? Because if that's the case, we're screwed. Does that make sense? We're just in trouble. The great news about the predictive mind is that your brain, it's not three different brains competing with each other. You have one brain. That brain is always on until you die, and it is always changing. There's absolutely no doubt that you can heal. There's absolutely no doubt that your brain can change because what a brain is always changing. Does that make sense? Your brain is the byproduct of everything you've ever been through. That's really good news. The problem with trauma is that those parts of it aren't meant to be changed easily. Those parts of it aren't meant to be changed without a very specific type of disconfirming information. Okay? Yeah. Again, I see questions in chat about how we're gonna get reimbursed for this, how we're gonna bill this, how we're gonna whatever. Let's learn it first, right? There's lots of ways to write up Flash. You can write it up as a phase 2 EMDR intervention. You can write it up as a core mindful task. And in a few years, you'll be able to cite research that I'm doing and other people are doing, all have already been doing for years all over the world. There's growing evidence for Flash, right? Dozens and dozens and dozens of pieces of research and more coming. Okay. We'll figure out how to make sense of it to outside. Let's make sense of it inside. Okay. So how does this sound? How does this sound I know you're like, Tom, can you just give me a technique? But I need to explain what the thoughts behind this technique are, or it's going to be some kind of voodoo that you're not working well. I won't be able to even kind of explain well. Does anyone have a question about working mechanism stuff?
When you say working mechanism, do you mean like one of the steps in this? Is that what you mean?
No, I mean like what we were just talking about how the predictive brain does is
Oh,
doing Flash. Yeah. Yes, there's 6 demos. There's 6 demos on fourblinks.com, FOURBLINKS.com. One of them is with a mom who's loving on a little baby that's got cheeks the size of oranges, right? And he's like looking at her and looking at me. And another one is a lady who's doing Flash petting her cat or interacting with her cat. 2 people are doing YouTube videos. Yeah, those videos are there. Okay. Okay, good. Again, Bruce Ecker. Bruce Ecker has been all over this forever. Now, Bruce Ecker is trying to change something different than what we are. Bruce Ecker is trying to change a whole belief all at once. He's trying to change the whole thing all at once. What he needs to do that is a very, very specific disconfirming experience. What we're trying to do, what we're trying to do is just update one little piece of one memory. So the key that you need to get into the Bank of America vaults in New York City is not the same key that you need to get into a moped in Des Moines. And we're on the moped level. Okay, good. All right, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm trying, there's a question I wanted to answer. Yeah, Flash changes beliefs. Flash changes your beliefs about that experience. So when I said that Flash permanently resolves the memory, what I mean is how you think about yourself in the world updates in an adaptive way every time. Okay. So Flash changes what you think about yourself and the world compared to what you believed before, because that's what healing does, right? Resolving a memory does that. Okay. Also, those of you that are EMDR therapists, you know that working on one memory resolves others that you don't have to touch. That's called generalization. Flash also generalizes. How do I know? I've done target sequence plans and we work on this memory, and then all of a sudden we don't have to work on these 3 because working on this one fully adaptively resolve those others. EMDR might resolve more broadly than Flash does. I don't care. Are there individual memories that are in your clients' heads this week that might be really good to have in their past this week? Flash can help you do that. Okay. So here's what a process memory looks like. Yeah. Here's what a process memory looks like. All parts of you realize that that memory is over. Okay, all parts of you experience, after Flash, all parts of you experience that memory is over. If not, there's more work to do. Okay, good. Again, there are many versions of Flash. There are multiple trainers. You can get trained with Phil Manfield at flashtechnique.com if you want. Although I would argue that this version is the most developed for people with complex trauma, right? I view this version as an approach to psychotherapy, developing it as an approach to psychotherapy. So, um, yeah, questions. Yeah.
Can we just ask any questions we have here?
Ask any question. Yeah.
So I had put this in the chat, but I want to ask here because you offered. Are there any kind of memories that this version of Flash isn't suited? Are there any contraindications?
Yeah. I don't like Flash for preverbal trauma, right? Because why? Because you don't, when I say really quickly think about the memory, you don't have a memory to think about. All you have is a body sensation, and that body sensation doesn't want to come small, right? So Flash, I like EMDR better for preverbal trauma when you have a body imprint of trauma, but you don't actually have a memory of it. I like EMDR better than Flash, but in this version of Flash, after you've worked with small memories first, you will find that Flash does fantastic for attachment wounds. Clients resolve attachment wounds in Flash with the same ease that they resolve event trauma in Flash. And they do it. My clients resolve whatever we target. And again, I've been saying this for 4.5 years. My clients resolve whatever we target in Flash 95% of the time in a single session. Okay? 95% of the time in a single session, assuming you have most of the session to work. Okay? And when they don't, we usually resolve it next session. In 10 or 15 minutes, it remains. And there wasn't any heartburn between those sessions. Flash doesn't, is not known to significantly contribute to decompensation the way the more body-based therapies are. Okay? You can do Flash in a session and it might relax you, but it will not exhaust you. Okay? Vast, vast, vast majority of the time. There may be some people for whom that's not true because certain neurodivergent brains have a hard time doing this task switching, and that can be kind of difficult because there's very fast task switching in Flash. But in general, for most people, Flash won't exhaust you nowhere near the way, nowhere near the way EMDR will. Yes, you can do Flash with kids.
I have a question. If a client has aphantasia
Yeah,
and cannot form a mental picture of a
yeah.
memory and image, what would you do?
Yeah. Many people who have aphantasia struggle with resourcing, right? So again, aphantasia is not one thing. Some people with aphantasia can absolutely imagine or see that video content, right? They're not imagining it. The video content was imprinted in their nervous system, and that may be part of the content that comes. If your client can't access the visual parts of a memory, that's okay. I'm not telling them to access only the visual parts. The other parts of awareness that come are going to come, and that's going to be adequate probably to resolve that memory just fine. Many people in Flash have worked with people with aphantasia largely effortlessly, and we're going to talk about how to do these resources in ways that don't require visualization. By the way, YouTube doesn't require visualization, right? Unless your client has visual impairment, and then we're going to say, well, can we use music? Can you use music as your pleasant scene? And then instead of looking at a number, do you know what we're going to do? Every 5 seconds, the client's going to clap, right? Which is a motor movement designed to interrupt their pleasant scene, and then they go right back into their pleasant scene. So, yes. All right. Page 6. Oh, Allison, go ahead. Quick question. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't even know exactly how to quite phrase this, but um, where there isn't a historical trauma that has occurred, but like right now in our world, I'm in Minnesota, it's bad.
Yeah.
People are really struggling with their fear of the future. They
Yeah.
don't have, I mean, obviously we have last weekend to work through, but in addition to that, it's like, um, hypothesized future that's incredibly terrifying. So there isn't an actual event that has occurred. Can
Yeah.
you use this technique with that kind of um,
Yes. Yes.
situation?
But it's not true that an event hasn't occurred. Does
No, I'm
that, yeah,
talking,
yeah,
yeah, an event has occurred, and I realize those are available to
yeah,
process, but a lot of
yeah,
this is fear about the future
yeah,
and how this
yeah,
is going to continue to go,
yeah,
where I feel like this, we could see that future, whatever that is, wherever they got
yeah,
those images from or
yeah,
sensations, and that should work.
yeah. Step seven. Step seven, after we resolve some stuff from the past, step seven is all about resolving a future scene that we're worried about. We'll talk about step seven in a little while, but we want to process what has impacted your nervous system that's causing right now distress. We want to process that. And that's going to be hard because for many of you, it's not one video, it's multiple. It's like multiple scenes and this and that, and having seen things 40 times. So we'll talk about those particular instances. Here's First, let's talk about how we resolved something in the past. I don't care what it is in the past. I don't care if it's 40 years old or 4 hours old. Flash is going to work okay with it. In one condition, this is really important. Well, two conditions. The broader conditions are that the client can do the core things I'm asking them to do. They can microactivate. And if you can't microactivate a particular memory, we have to find one that you can. Okay? So, one of the big things that we have to do is for many of you, check your right now body. Where is the memory? Does that make sense? If you've been living it, you've been in it, your clients are going to come to session like this. So, do you know what we need to do? We need to ground, 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 connect you to the safety of here, so that we can bring a tiny piece of it into awareness at a time. But if the experience is in your body and you come to session in your body and it's in your body and we don't ground, your body isn't having a disconfirming experience. It's in your body. Does that make sense? You bring a being in, it's confirming. Yeah. So with your clients in crisis or really, really activated, I promise you can do flash with them, but you have to ground first. Okay? We have to get it far enough away to bring a little bean into it at a time. And yeah, I'm not doing flash. If your client is in shock, they're going to need other skills from you than trying to do flash. You have to be here for flash. And it is from here that we're dissociating into your YouTube video. It's not from here that we're associating into your YouTube video. It's from right here in this moment. And from the safety of here, you're going into that YouTube video and you're processing little pieces of that old thing. Okay. All right. We do need to move forward. So flash in a crisis context, ground. Okay. Yes. You can come to the practice groups. I do them every week. I'm going to give you, after this training, you're about to be able to process a memory. In this practice, we're going to process a memory. Then when we're done, you can come to the practice groups and I'll walk you through a memory. We'll spend 75 minutes processing a memory or two together in each of these practice groups. I do them every week. I've been doing them every week for years as a service to keep therapists healthy. Okay, so come. You can't bring your clients. I can't have that liability, right? But you come. You come, right? So we'll talk about that. All right. Let's skip page 7. Let's skip page 8. Many of you are not EMDR therapists. If you're EMDR therapists, read page 7, read page 8, because people are like, when do we do flash? When do we do EMDR? If your client's not prepared or isn't resourced enough to do EMDR therapy, but they are prepared to do flash, do flash. And some EMDR therapists, again, I'm an EMDR trainer, right? I'm like one of EMDR's most publicly out there people talking about how amazing it is. But people will say, Tom, I'm afraid I'm going to process all of the client's trauma in flash, and there's not going to be time for EMDR. And I will just say, will you just say that out loud and listen to yourself? Are you kidding me? That is not a problem we have to worry about in the world. Is, oh my gosh, I accidentally helped this client process all of their trauma. Come on. We will never run out of work, right? Good. All right. Step 1, page 9. Develop a container. And those of you, I'm just going to let you know, those of you who here struggles visualizing. Okay, lots. Skip this resource. I'm going to show you an accommodation that's going to replace it. Okay, but those of you that can visualize, can you imagine a box that might hold something difficult? Okay, it could be a cardboard box. Do not make it the ballerina jewelry box your grandmother gave you in 1972. We're going to be putting crap in it. Like, don't do that. You know what I mean? It's something that can just go away, right? So can you imagine a box that might hold stuff? It doesn't have to be massive. Do you know why? We're not activating massive pieces. We're just activating little pieces. And if a whole London street bus comes out, we're not using container, we're using grounding. Okay? So can you imagine a box? And can you spin it around in your awareness? Can you put a lid or a door on it so that it can open and close? Okay. Those of you that can visualize, how'd that go? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. You able to get in touch with it? Good. Can you open that box and imagine a blank Post-it note going in it? Okay. And then close the door. Does it feel like it's in there? Okay, good. Can you get that box now? This is a little bit involves even more magic. Can you get that box? And now send it away. Use your hands, send it away. Send it through your wall, out beyond the object formerly known as the planet Pluto. Like send it out so far away. Okay. And then when it's gone, we're going to comb seam. You see what we did there? Good. Now, can you imagine a warehouse, huge warehouse, completely empty, and now fill it with empty copies of your container so that there are millions of them. And the moment you need one, poof, a new one shows up with the door open. And then we send it away. And we never bring the container back. We always get content from here. We never bring the container back. Okay, why? Because you don't have to. We're getting content from over here and sending it away. And people say, well, that feels ecologically irresponsible. And I'm like, it's an imagination. It's okay. It's an imagination. Go home and recycle. It'll be okay. Right? So, absolutely. Good. Okay. So you have a box that can hold stuff that can get pushed away. That's great. Those of you that can't visualize, do you have a piece of paper near you somewhere? I do. I'm going to tear a strip of it. I just tore a strip of paper. And then what we're going to do, those of you that struggle visualizing, I want you to try to find a piece of paper somewhere to do this. Okay. We have a little cube of paper here, and you know what I'm making? I'm making a little ball out of it. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is maybe you make, I don't know, 50 of these. little balls of paper, and you just have them on your desk. Okay. And then what we're going to do is when it's time to do flash, when I say very quickly think about the memory, what you're going to do is you're going to get this ball of paper and you're going to throw it in the air and you're going to catch it. But you're only going to think about the memory when the ball of paper is in the air. And then you throw it away across the room. Yeah, you have a mess to clean up later, but you just throw it away across the room. Do you know what we've just done? You think about the memory only when the ball of paper is in the air. That's microactivation. You catch it, and whatever's distressing in any way, it goes into that paper, and then you throw it away. That's containment. So microactivation, containment. Okay. I have bean bags in my office that we do the same things with. Green, yellow, white, blue, right? They throw it in the air, they catch it, whatever's distressing, they put it in the beanbag and they throw it away. If it's a thought, if it's a feeling, if it's a whatever, okay? How does that sound? Okay. So we've just made containment concrete. Do you know what YouTube has done? YouTube has made your calm scene concrete. You don't have to imagine it at all. It's imagined for you. You just open your eyes, assuming you have access to vision. You open your eyes and there it is. And yes, they're ads. And in recent ones, yes, the ads, I mean, somebody came on and said, you wouldn't believe the ad that Google decided to throw into YouTube while I'm working on this trauma. It was like exactly the whatever. Yeah, unfortunately, you get YouTube Premium. You can pay off the guys that drive the rocket ships and stuff. You could just pay them off, and then you won't see another ad. Or there's apps that you can use to get around some of the ads. But yeah, we have ads. So okay, questions about containment. And again, containment, it's also this, just this. Does that make sense? It doesn't have to be a box, just this. Oh, no, no. Go. And again, the reason we send stuff away, those of you that said some of my clients are going to feel like this is disrespectful. The reason we send stuff away isn't because it's bad. Okay? Many of the things we're sending away may have been the very things you needed to survive when you were a kid. The things, and the reason we're sending it away is so that all of awareness is available for our disconfirming calm scene. Because if we don't send it away, it's going to sit right here. And think about you're trying to watch a pleasant video and your creepy family member is sitting right there. Does that mean it doesn't work? We've got to send it away really, really far away. Okay.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
It's about the container, but also the memory that's in the container.
I'm
Um,
going to pause real quick.
okay.
Pause real quick. Because what's in the container is not the memory. It's a tiny, tiny piece of the memory. But go ahead. Yeah.
I think I'm just struggling and maybe about how to choose one. So I'm trying to apply this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But hold on, because your clients with trauma need to heal. It doesn't really matter. I mean, the real question isn't, the real question is where is a memory that's a good memory to start with? Does that make sense? That's the question more than anything else. And we're going to cover that when we do the safety stuff for y'all. Yeah. So I'll talk about how you kind of stage this so that your client you can do this in a way that kind of doesn't start with the first of anything. The example I said, y'all are just learning this, right? Does anyone here the kind of person that when you buy a car, you immediately take it to the interstate to see how fast it could go? Do you do that with your client driving? Then don't do that in this. Does that make sense? Don't max it out when you're still learning how to do this. Does that make sense? And it's brand new for your client. Imagine like a tennis ball with someone that doesn't know how to catch. We say, I want you to cup your hands and I'm going to gently just throw it in. Does that make sense? And then after a little bit of time, we're going to start backing up, and then we're going to eventually have a glove. And then by the time we get to the big stuff, you're able to catch it when a college baseball player is throwing you a glove, throwing you the ball. Whack. Do you know what I mean? So we'll talk about that. No, this is not an approach where we're going to start with the big stuff first. But after you've done a few, you can pretty much go where your client wants to go. Yeah. Good. Okay. Shop vac. Has anybody here used the vacuum cleaner? I hope so. I hope so. Some type of or dust buster, or drop some coins into a car wash and use the vacuum that they have there. Good. Can you get in touch with that memory? And if you can't, can you just imagine a hose that has a whole lot of suction? Okay. Can you get in touch with that memory? And then what I invite you to do is see if you can find some stress in your body, not pain. Do not try this with pain, right? And just see if you can vacuum that residual distress out wherever you are. Yeah. Yeah. Good. You don't have to get it all. Don't let it pull your skin, right? Don't let it pull your skin. Just get as much of it as you can. Good. Were you able to get some of it? Can you imagine it leave your body like a kind of colored smoke and go into that shop vac hose? How was that? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. This is also a visualization exercise. For those of you that struggle, you may need to scoop with your hands, that sensation, scoop it and send it away. Or I would say, how do you get distress out of your body quickly when you're distressed? Can we get up and wiggle? Do you know what I mean? Do we need to do a little bit of grounding? But we need a strategy. If the stress is in your body, we need a strategy to get the distress moving away from you before we go forward. Sensible? I'm not too picky about what it is, especially for people that struggle visualizing. Some people, the shop vac's triggering because of Cinderella. Do you know what I mean? If you were punished a lot, if chores and vacuuming you associate it with punishing, then if you associate it with that, then the vacuum construct is a little bit triggering. The other thing is that some medical procedures involve vacuuming or suctioning. So if we have unprocessed trauma for medical procedures, we may need to be careful with vacuuming as a construct. But many people can do it. And if you can, great. If you can't, we need a strategy to get distress out of the body, out of the nervous system as fast as we can. Okay, calm scene. What is it that just makes you giggle? What is it? What is it and find it. I'm going to give you 90 seconds. I'm going to go refill my drink because I'm an introvert that's been talking. So, what is it? Find it. I'm going to give you 90 seconds on YouTube. Find something beautiful, relaxing, engaging, silly. If you're looking for clips from The Office, do highlight clips. Does that make sense? Don't watch whole episodes because they're too slow. Yeah. Good. Find something on YouTube. I'm going to be back in 90 seconds to see how you're doing. Good. How'd that go? How are y'all doing? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. You find something engaging. You can change it at any time and for any reason, but you really need to change it if it starts to get boring. The other rule, the main rule is that Flash needs to shift. The calm scene needs to shift how you feel in the present moment quickly. The other rule is it cannot intersect with the bad memory at all. It can't. Okay. So you can't use pictures of dogs to process a memory of pet loss. Does that make sense? You can't use scenes from a beautiful beach in Maui for divorce trauma if that's where you honeymooned. Does that make sense? You can't. And even if you have like heartache from like a divorce trauma or something, you can't use The Office because you're like, what's wrong with highlight clips from The Office? You know what's going to happen? The only part of your relationship that didn't suck was probably watching that in COVID. Do you know? And you're going to remember the evening y'all were sitting there watching that very episode. Do you see what I mean? So if there's an intersection, we have to stop and change the video to something that doesn't intersect. Make sense? And there are 20 plus billion videos on YouTube. And again, my clients have clients who'll be like, Tom, you know I hate people. I'm like, I know you do. But we can find there are billions of YouTube videos that don't have people in them. What do you love? I love pizza. There are thousands of YouTube videos of pizza. Okay. The video needs to be ideally long enough at least to go 30 seconds. I hope your video is much, much longer. If not, you're going to need to make a video playlist. Okay. There's also, if you love beaches, there's beach wave. If you go to YouTube and search beach wave relaxation, you know it's this weird AI wizardry when the perfect sunset lasts for 9 hours on a YouTube video. So whatever, but you can use it, right? You can use it. It'll be okay. Good. What y'all find? Put in chat what you found that was funny, engaging, just so that other people can get some ideas for making suggestions with their clients. Yeah. Babies are classics. Yeah, babies are classics. Animals are also great. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Excellent. Awesome. Yeah, y'all are getting this. You're getting it. Excellent. Okay. Sensory grounding. We just did it. I invite us to do it again. Okay. And again, I'm not modeling the consent and parts work, but you'll see when you look at the script, we're engaging parts in every step here, right? We're asking permission, right? Would it be okay to try this exercise? Again, in trauma work, you want to give clients as much consent as possible because that's been a whole lot of what has wounded them. So I invite you to engage with grounding. Do you have what you need for the grounding exercise? Okay, good. I invite you to look around your current room. Notice whatever you see. Notice if that object would be hard or soft or some other texture if you were to touch it. Okay, good. If you have a piece of furniture near you, just touch it with your hands. Notice, is it warmer, cooler, or the same temperature as your hand? Good. As you move your fingertips across that surface, is it completely smooth or do you notice a texture? Good. I'm going to be very quiet. Notice whatever you hear in order of loudest first. Good. If you have something near you that has a smell, feel free to engage in that. Okay. If you have something near you that has a taste, feel free to engage in that. Okay, good. How'd that go? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. And what I'm looking for grounding to do is not necessarily relax you, but to shift your orientation in space-time to the present moment. Did it let you feel a little bit more connected to your present room in this present space? And if so, which of the senses seem to be the most anchoring, seem to have the most power? And if so, that's the one I want you to use. Start with if you need to ground in our exercise a little bit later. Okay? Good. Grounding. Grounding is kind of the resource that opens up a lot of other things. Grounding is very, very helpful. It's also difficult for people with really complex trauma and others that may struggle with grounding. All right, page 14, we select the memory, but we don't activate it. You can line it up in a prior session. You can ask the client what they want to work on. And if you're an EMDR therapist, you may be like, Tom, that sounds like a very haphazard way of like doing this, just letting the client select their own memory. Like once they've done some small ones and we know that they can handle it, we're going to just let them select their own memory. What I say is, what the heck were you going to do in that session? More important than that client resolving a memory that they've identified that they'd like to spend their session resolving. I mean, what are you going to do more important than that? Does that make sense? Yes, we can do a more careful and detailed lining up of targets. Do you know what I mean? We can do that. But what in the world is wrong with just processing trauma if you're a trauma therapist? Right? So select the memory, but don't activate it. What I'm going to ask you when we do this work is there a memory that you'd like to work on this evening? Do all parts of you think working on it is a good idea today? I'm going to say first, check and make sure it's an individual memory. So the target is not the US government is a monster. Do you know what I mean? That's not the target. That's not a memory, right? A memory is a particular individual moment when you were exposed to something, or you were doing something, or you learned something, or you had some kind of impact to your nervous system. Okay, so is it an individual memory that happened at a particular place and time? That's our target. And then do all parts of you think working on it's a good idea today? Check. And if you get a wave of nausea, that's probably a no. Yeah. So people that don't think that you don't have a memory, you're probably focused on the overwhelm. You're focused on the accumulation of things. Does that make sense? But the accumulation of things was an accumulation of experiences. We need to find one of those experiences to work on. And if you can't because you're pervasively like caught up in the big whirlwind of things, you need to not do flash until you can ground. Does that make sense? We need, because you're not here. It's not going to go well. It's not safe.
Yeah,
So
it's still not making sense to me. I'm sorry. I'm really explain it to me like I'm a kindergartner because I can ground totally.
yeah,
I'm trying to figure out like simply how I would choose, and it's probably because I do EMDR, so I'm probably one of those hard
yeah,
people to teach. I'm trying to figure out how I might target someone who like comes into a session and it's just like the world's a mess. I feel despair. I feel hopeless. I feel
yeah,
frozen. So we would help them ground, sure. And then like, what are we trying to do if they don't have like a memory per se? It's not
yeah.
one memory.
We're going
It's
to help them find one.
Okay. So
right?
help me. Yeah, like I'm right
Yeah.
here, like with you guys all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when was the first time you were like, shit?
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean? When was the first time that you were like, oh, this is something else? Do you know what I mean? This is like, when is that? Or when was the moment where,
Hmm.
when was the moment? Yeah. So
Hmm.
there, trauma therapists are pretty intuitive about helping people find memories. First and worst are pretty good places, once the client, but again, if you have a client that is pretty activated about stuff here, sometimes we may want to start over here just so that they can learn what this is without the risk of everything wanting to come in. So we may even start with an annoying neighbor. Yeah. Yeah. So again, if you work with people with trauma, one of the big things that we don't worry about is we just assume there's going to be content. We're going to have to find it, right? We'll find that content. So, but we don't want to try to target a symptom. A symptom is not our target, right? An experience that made impact on your nervous system that's generating the symptom is. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Step 4, load up your calm scene, and you're going to blink every 5 seconds. Except in this version, I'm going to encourage you to get a piece of paper. I'm going to model this. Do you have a piece of paper near you? If you don't have a piece of paper near you, when I say a number, you can blink and it'll be okay. Okay. If a body sense, yeah, well, yeah, we'll get to these. We may be here a while this evening. I love your questions. I love your questions, but one thing at a time. What we're talking about now is about putting single numbers onto a piece of paper between 0 and 9. Okay, good. Can you do that? Okay, and if that was really easy for you to do, can you make 2 of them? Because you're going to memorize the first one, and then I want you to switch it up. I want you to kind of, when we're starting, I want you to kind of like really seek it. Okay. And if you don't want to do the numbers, when I say a number, so I'm going to say, load up your calm scene. Let me know when you're there. You're going to press your YouTube video, and then I'm going to say 7. And then you find the 7 on that sheet, and then you look right back at your YouTube video. If you don't want to do the numbers, when I say a number, you just blink your eyes. That's all you have to do, whatever you're comfortable doing. But those of you that have done Flash before with the blinks, I want you to try it with the numbers because we've been doing some original explorations and it seems to be better. And do you know why? Because if we're disrupting your pleasant scene, are y'all watching me? That may not be enough of a disruption. Some people blink like that. It may not, but if you turn away and you find a number and you go back, I know that you've disengaged and I know that you're having a new experience in your pleasant scene. So it just really makes sure, it kind of helps manage the ambiguities of the varieties of blinking that people do, right? It's just the unpredictable variable. This gives it a little bit more certainty. And if you just hate numbers because, I don't know, third grade, let me tell you, I was there. I mean, third grade, where did our self-esteem go for many of us? It went away in a math class, right? So if numbers are triggering, just do the blinking, right? And then there's other versions of Flash where you don't have to do the numbers. But let's try it. Let's try it and see. Okay, good. You got your number sheet. If not, when I say a number, another thing you can do, you can find an object in your room, look at it, and then go right back. Yeah. Yeah. We'll talk about, yeah, we're going to talk about what a memory is versus an experience versus a theme or a whole bucket of wounding in your life. Those are things that we need to clarify. Okay, and we're going to microactivate the memory, lightning fast. Step 5, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing, catch it, contain it, send it away. I want to see y'all doing this. Does that make sense? I want to see you doing it. It's just a nice message. It's moving away. Oh, where's my puppies? Right? It's like it's creating space for puppies, right? Good. Microactivate, contain, and then back to step 4. 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, over and over and over until it's getting hard to find what's distressing. And then we start playing it like a video and find the first piece of distress, catch it, contain it. And we do this. We're not done until you can play the memory from the beginning to the end. You can play the memory and there's no distress on any channel, not on thoughts, not on the body, not on emotions, and not in the memory itself. That doesn't mean, and for some of you here that are not like EMDR therapists or not like, you know, people that work in therapies where you just see memories resolve in a single session regularly, this may be one of your first exposures to actually seeing somebody actually permanently get past something for the rest of their life. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good. Questions?
Does it have to be 0 through 9?
Well, I'm going to say 0 through 9.
I
Does that
understand, but
make
that
sense?
means we had to write 0 through 9. Well, you can't see that I wrote in pencil. It means we
Yeah.
have to write 0 through 9, and my neurodivergent clients are gonna lose their shit because that is not uniform. There's 10 numbers there. There's no way to make that uniform.
What does that mean?
I guess if
There's,
I could
yeah.
do 5 and 5, and then it would be uniform, but if it's not like ordered, that's gonna drive them nuts.
Okay. You can also do colors, right? What I've done is I put these bean bags on the table, and instead of saying a number, I just say a color, and then they look and find that colored bean bag and then go right back. Right?
That's
So you can do shapes, you can do colors, you can do I spy. You know what I mean? In the room, like I spy
I
bookshelf.
I want to make sure I'm doing it the way it's supposed to be done, so I just needed to
There's
ask.
not a supposed to be. It's just we're supposed to disengage from our pleasant scene and go right back in.
Got you.
There are an infinite number of ways to do
In
that.
ways that isn't blinking, because I did learn some.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. And blinking's fine. Blinking has worked for millions of people. Yeah. Blinking is fine, but we're trying to make this even more regular. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Future template. Once you clear out something from the past, you can do a future flash target. You can target a future scene. Do not target something catastrophic. That's not the purpose of this. Does that make sense? So you don't like if a client's husband died of a heart attack, we don't like do a flash around your new husband also dying of a heart attack. Does that make sense? That's not our target. Our target is they say they're not feeling well. Does that make sense? Because they're a human and there's the flu going around everywhere. Does that make sense? Our target is um, something like that. Does that make sense? So it's not we don't want the future template to be catastrophic if the reality of your life is not catastrophic right here, right now, right? So some people will say, well, we shouldn't like target infidelity. We shouldn't target, I mean, if it's happened 6 times, I would say that's a really good future template because it's probably likely to happen a seventh. Do you know what I mean? So it just depends on the context. But in general, we want to target a future scene that's likely to happen in the next few weeks, next few months. And then you know what we do? We do everything we've just done with that past memory, but we do it with the future thing. So I say, this is where I'm having you fill it out a little bit. So if it's a fight with a husband, we just worked on a memory where maybe you had a fight with a partner. Okay. And now we're going to do a future scene. Why? Because this person's still in your life. They're still a knucklehead. They're still going to say one of the dumb things. So we're going to do this when they do. Okay. So where are you? Oh, you're in your kitchen. Okay. What is it that they're going to say? Like we're filling out the scene a little bit. And then once we've got it filled out, what I say is, okay, just push that future scene out of your awareness. Let me know when it's gone. Look at a blank wall or ceiling. Let me know when it's gone. It's gone. Good. Calm scene. We do our calm scene with blinks. And then you know what we do? Lightning fast, think about the future scene. Whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Blink, 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 blink. How did that go? And then we keep looking at that future scene until the client tells you they can't find what's distressing in it. And then they start playing the future scene like a video, digesting each piece until they can play the whole video of the future scene, and there's no distress on any channel. And what happens is your client's going to say something like, when my mother-in-law was over, she was doing her crazy dance in my kitchen. And I was in my own body, watching her do her crazy dance, and I didn't join her. Okay? So that's the kind of thing. Or for the first time ever, I was able to drive through the intersection where the bad wreck happened. And I didn't realize I did that until I got home. Make sense? I drove through it and didn't even realize I did it. Okay? That's Flash Future Template. You can work on future things. It's really good if you clear out past stuff first, because then your nervous system has a recently produced cascade of predictions that we can leverage forward and a cascade of learning that we can leverage forward. Okay, page 20, where this version of Flash breaks and how to fix it. You've guessed it. It is really easy to overactivate. Distress in the body from that memory. To be really clear, your clients with very high anxiety, they have a baseline of like 8 or 8.5 all the time, don't they? That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about by activation is what got worse when you looked at that memory. Does that make sense? It's not your baseline. It's from your baseline, what got worse when you looked at that memory, right? That's what we're catching, containing. I want to be really clear about what happens if we aren't paying attention to distress. So here are the safety rules. If this isn't almost completely painless, the same way touching a hot skillet with a wet finger is painless when you do it fast enough. You feel the heat, but it's painless. Okay, we stop. We do not go forward. You do not push into distress in Flash, this version of Flash, period. Not 1 ounce. Do you know why? Because distress in the body from that memory is confirming. It will reinforce the trauma rather than disconfirm it. And you know what happens if the stress builds and builds and builds and builds and builds? Not only is your client going to be re-traumatized, but their mind is going to say all of this, including the calm scene, is trauma. And what will happen is you will pair the trauma with the calm scene. And the calm scene is one of the only things in the world that doesn't suck for your clients with really, really, really complex trauma. So we do not push into distress. If distress is coming, we immediately stop, use a resource, and deal with it. Period. Non-negotiable. Okay? And if distress is building, we are hard stopping and not thinking about that memory again until you are completely reset. And if you can't not do that, I'm not going forward. We're going to find a memory that you can microactivate to process. Some memories don't want to come little pieces at a time. We need to find one that does. especially when we're first learning. Okay, so what are some good first targets for y'all? This is tough. It's hard doing trainings. This happened like I did a lot of flash trainings around the time of the Israeli-Palestinian issue several years ago. I did them for Israeli therapists and for Arabic speaking therapists. And it's really hard to do this when you're in it, right? It's hard to learn this when you're in a war zone, right? And y'all, some of you here are very clearly in a war zone. So try to find something that feels small to test this with. And if you're like, there's nothing in the world that feels small, then sit this exercise out and watch other people do it. Okay? Okay? Good. Yeah. If you can't microactivate, you can't find something that we can microactivate, we need to stop and you just become an observer. Just watch other people, watch the flow of this. Okay? Good. So if you have activation and you have to use a resource, you have to ground, that's okay. Does it make sense? That's okay. But you know what you have to do next time? You have to, after you ground, you have to look at that memory 100 times faster because you looked at it way too slowly, right? So the way we manage activation is by looking at the memory much, much faster next time. And then after a little bit of time, it takes longer and longer to find what's distressing in it. Okay? Okay. The other problem is that if containing was working, meaning you were able to see that thing go past Pluto, but yet you're doing flash and it's not, the problem's not containment. The problem is overactivation. Right? Because if this comes out, you can easily put it in. But if a London street bus comes out and it's sitting on your chest, that's going to be hard to contain. So that's not a containment problem. That's an overactivation problem. And if that's happening, you need to ground. Does that make sense? And then ground. And if you have residue, shot back it up. Right? And then you can probably go forward. Sensible? Okay. If if the client seems like they're doing what you're asking them to do, but they're saying the same piece is coming and it's not changing, there's nothing about it's changing, I'm going to say, how's your calm scene feel? Oh, I've been bored with it for 40 minutes. No, then that's the problem. Does that make sense? You can't, the pleasant scene must be inducing a pleasant experience in your nervous system. And if it's not, flash may not work. So that could be the problem. If they're mechanically doing what you're asking them to do, but it's not working, check and make sure that the engaging scene is engaging. If not, change it to something much, much more engaging. Many people with ADHD don't give them videos at all. Let them select the video. Does that make sense? We don't need to be lazy with this. Let them select the video that's going to be deeply engaging for them. But very rarely for my clients with ADHD is a wave, a beach with waves coming in, their calm scene. Does that make sense? They're going to be bored with that by the fourth wave, right? So we need to have something really, really, really engaging for clients that need really salient things to draw them into it. Good. If before we even start, your client has a big wave of anxiety, you probably didn't check with parts. Does that make sense? Because if your client has a huge wave of anxiety, there's a part that's shaking its head before we even go here. Yeah. Good. Yes, go ahead and you can, we're going to review. Let's review a little bit more safety stuff. And then I'll give you like a 5-minute break, and then we'll come back and practice this together. I'll guide you through it. We'll practice it together. First, page 21. Don't use an imaginary scene. Just trust me. Trust me that it's going to be better if you don't. Okay. Be sensible about the memory that you're working on. I'm a little bit worried about y'all because you're coming in with a much higher energy resonance than like a lot of the groups that I train on a random Tuesday evening. Does that make sense? So I really want you to be careful not to try to process everything from the last 3 months. Okay. That is not going to go well. And I want you to sleep tonight. Okay. So try to find something that is not a monster. And if it's not going well, stop, find something smaller. And if that's not going well, stop. Do not push forward. Just stop. Ground, hang out in your calm scene. It's funny. Okay, good. We work one memory at a time. So check with your parts. In this version of Flash, we work one memory at a time. If there's time, we can do a couple of memories back to back, but we work one memory at a time. Do you know why? Because if you let in two, what is to keep 27 from coming? And do you know how much disconfirming information you need to have to process 27 memories in 20 minutes? That is a horrible idea. So check with your parts. Is it okay to stay with one memory per flash session, period? I know they want to come. I know they want to come. It is a really bad idea to let them. Okay? Work one memory at a time, please. Yeah. If grief comes, let yourself feel it. Stop flash, let yourself feel it. If it's grief, it's going to come like a wave. Let yourself feel it. When the wave comes and it passes, stand up, dust the sand off you, and see if you can continue. Check with your part, see if you're willing to continue. But we don't process grief. Grief is not something we process, it's something we let ourselves feel. We grieve by grieving. We don't grieve by flashing it. Yeah. Yeah. Um, a memory is a single individual chunk of experience that lasts from a few moments to a few hours at most. Someone's dying, someone's funeral, that is not one memory. Does that make sense? One memory is a few moments to a few hours long at most. If you went to sleep in the middle of it, that is not a memory. Does that make sense? If one day goes to the next day and you slept, that is not a memory. Yeah. Good. Let's take our break. Those of you that need a little bit more time to line up if you want to, I'm telling you, music's great. If you love music, turn off your video and dance. I mean, I'm telling you, right? Movement is so disconfirming, right? You can, and again, love on a dog, love on a kitty, love on a baby, love on anything that you have in your current environment. You can do that as well. Let's take a 5-minute break. Come back at not at what time? 11 minutes after. Come back at 11 minutes after. Good. All right, welcome back. Good. All right, there's a question in chat that I don't want to deal with now because it is relevant to what y'all are going through. And it's a question basically of, doesn't the trauma have to be over before we work on it and before we even imagine the future scenario? And no, do you know why? Because there'd be no use in ever treating a child. Does that make sense? Because we're just sending them home to the context where they're wounded. There'd be no use for ever treating racial trauma because that's a trauma you don't ever age out of. You do all the work you want, and people still, if you're in cultures that are designed to extinguish you, then we have to heal. Does that make sense? As a matter of fact, we need to heal so that we're less burdened by the crap we've got yet to go through. Does that make sense? And maybe so that it won't stick to us as bad as it might otherwise. So this doesn't have to be over for y'all to heal from what has already happened. Okay? If something has made its imprint on your nervous system, you can visit it in Flash or EMDR or other transformational trauma therapies and make it over. We're not making it okay. Does that make sense? This stuff shouldn't happen. You know what I mean? Racial trauma shouldn't happen, right? We're not making it okay. We're making it over in our own nervous systems so that it doesn't make us sick. Does that make sense? So that we can put a little bit of constraint on how bad this messes us up. Okay. Okay. Do you have a calm scene? Do you have any questions about this practice? Give me a thumbs up. Did you hear me say, do not grab the biggest monster that's in your brain and try to do this as your first practice? Y'all are amazing, but no. Okay. Um, did you hear me say that if you're encountering distress, stop, deal with that distress, and don't go forward until that distress is moving away from you. We don't push into distress. And then if you're having trouble, message me in chat, message me. And if you're really activated, I can have one of the assistants go into a breakout room with you, okay, and like help you ground. But try to not get there. Does that make sense? If you have questions, make sure that your questions in chat when we're doing this group practice are about what's happening right now. Don't ask consultation or curious questions when we're doing this, because I'm tuning to everybody and I'm making sure that y'all are okay. So don't make my distractible mind start to think about things other than that. Does that make sense? I want to make sure that we're all here. And I'm fine staying later. If we need to like answer all of your questions, I am absolutely fine with that. So, but for now, let's practice. And again, if you're walking around the world right now, barely keeping the lid on your trauma container, you don't have to do this exercise right now. Does that make sense? Load up your calm scene, just be in your calm scene. You don't have to do this exercise right now. It may not be safe for you to do this exercise right now. But if you have capacity and you're curious, let's try it. So here's how we do this group protocol, okay? We're going to do two 30-second rounds in the calm scene with numbers. You're going to look at your number and then go right back. We're going to do 2 rounds of that. That's how we start. And then I'm going to ask you to select the memory that you're working on. And as soon as you select it, we're going to push it out of awareness. And then we're going to do another round in the pleasant scene with our numbers. Okay? And then we're going to get going. We're going to start microactivating that memory, and then we're going to get going. Okay? And we're going to do this. Here's the dilemma. We have 120 people here. All of you are going to get to the end of the memory, like you can't find what's distressing in the memory at different times. Does that make sense? So when you can't find what's distressing in the memory when you look at it quickly, I need you to start playing that sucker. Like from the beginning until you find the first piece of distress, right? And then catch it, contain it. And then play it from there until you find the next piece of distress. I need you to keep chipping away at any debris that remains until you can play the whole thing beginning to end and there's no distress. Okay? Because the healing's going to be broadest if you do that. You can just take lots of pieces out of it and it's going to be great. But if you're going to do this, let's do it well. Does that make sense? Fully resolve that memory. Okay, good. Any questions about mechanically about what's about to happen? Procedurally about what's about to happen. No questions about your clients, but about what you're about to do. Awesome. All right. Good. Does everybody have this or something like it? And if you don't, you can blink when I say a number. Okay, or look away. Okay, excellent. Load up your calm scene and then just be in it. It's your calm scene that's doing the work. It's what's healing you. So be in it. Find your way there. Awesome. Good. Are you there? Give me a nod or thumbs up. Good. Awesome. Good. 7. And then go right back into your calm scene. Find it. Go right back into your calm scene. Good. 3. 9. 2. And 7. Okay, good. How'd that go? Were you able to find your way into the calm scene even though I was distracting you with the numbers? Awesome. Let's do it again. Load up your calm scene. Let me know when you're there. 5. 3. 8. 6. And 1. Okay, good. How'd that go? You're able to find your way into your calm scene? Excellent. Is there a memory that you thought you wanted, which you thought you may want to work today? Is it an individual memory that happened at a very specific place and very specific time? Do all parts of you think working on that memory is a good idea today? If so, look at a blank wall, ceiling, send it away. If not, negotiate with your parts to find something tolerable. Good. And then calm scene, be in your calm scene. 2. 6. 2. 5. And 9. Okay, good. How'd that go? How are you doing? Your thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. Doing all right? Okay. Are y'all ready to get going? It is that quick. That quick. It's better to not know what you're getting than to get too much. Lightning fast, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing, catch it, contain it, send it far away. Use your hands, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Calm scene, be in your calm scene. Use your resources if you have any intrusions, but just be in your calm scene. And 4. 6. 0. 0. And 2. Okay, good. How'd that go? You're doing okay. Really quickly check your body. If there's anything from that memory in your body, vacuum it out, scoop it up, send it away. And if you found something, skip the next round of activation because that was your content, right? If you didn't find something, lightning fast, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Everybody, calm scene. Good. 3. 5. 0. 9. And 7. Okay, good. How'd that go? How are y'all doing? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. Doing all right? If you're struggling, do you know why? Do you have a plan to address it? Use a resource to address it. Okay, excellent. If you're struggling, do that now. Everybody else, lightning fast, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this millisecond, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. So be in your calm scene. Good. 1. 9. 3. 2. And 8. Okay, good. How'd that go? How are you doing? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. Doing all right? Okay. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Good. So be in your calm scene. 3. 7. 1. 0. And 5. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. Good. How are y'all doing? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. Okay, good. Excellent. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 6, 2, 9, 4, and 1. Okay, good. How'd that go? Good. You're doing okay. All right, lightning fast. Think about the bad memory. Whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 9, 9, 8, 6, and 5. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. Now's probably a good time. Check your body. Make sure that none of that memory's hanging out in your body. If it is, vacuum it out. Good. If you found something, don't activate, right? Don't activate this round. Just go into your calm scene when we're there. Good. Everybody else, think about the memory super quick. Whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Good. Calm scene. 3, 5, 8, 9, and 7. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. Good. Very quickly. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 2, 8, 9, 0, and 4. Okay, good. How'd that go? We're doing okay. Good. We're not too far from our halfway point, just to kind of let your nervous systems know like how long we're going to be doing this. Um, so yeah, we'll just keep going. Good. If you have questions, I mean, if you have problems, put them in chat. We'll help you out. Everybody else, let's keep going. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory. Whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 3, 2, 5, 3, six, and 2. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. Excellent. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment. Catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Three, 9, 2, 9, and 4. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. Excellent. Good. How are you doing? Thumbs up, thumbs sideways, thumbs down. If you're struggling, do you know why? Do you have a concrete plan to deal with it? Okay, we're not evaluating if this memory is changing in any way. We're just making sure that you're doing the process. Nothing may have changed much in this amount of time. Okay, good. If you're having trouble, let us know in chat. We'll try to help you out. Okay. Otherwise, if you're on track, lightning fast, think about the bad memory. Whatever's distressing in this millisecond, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Six, 5, 9, 4, 6, and 3. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. All right, lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment. Catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Three, 9, 2, and 4. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. I want to do this like another 12 minutes. I want to get us to about 10 minutes till. If you've already resolved your memory, you can work on another small one. Does that make sense? One similar size. You don't have to finish it. So good. Yeah. Yes, we're working one memory at a time only, right? Okay. Awesome. Okay. I will just check real quick. Make sure that if you're putting questions in chat, they're about your present problems. They're not about cases. Does that make sense? Because we're trying to make sure y'all are okay. We'll have time for your curiosities. If you're having a problem, put that in chat. Everything else, hold it. Okay, good. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this millisecond. Catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. And just really be in your calm scene. Make sure that calm scene's working for you. Yeah. Your calm scene can play the whole time. Good. 2, 5, 9, six, and 4. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. How are y'all doing? Do we need to check your body? You need to move a little bit. We need to wiggle a little bit, right? Check. Make sure we're all right. Good. Okay. All right. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment. Catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 6, 8, two, 9, and 4. Okay, good. How'd that go? Good. If you're still getting big chunks of distress, you're looking at the memory too long. You got to look at it much, much faster. I know it's hard. It's a practice. We'll get good at it eventually. We're going to get this down. Okay, awesome. Good. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. And just really be in your calm scene. Six, two, three, eight, and four. Okay, good. How'd that go? Good. You're doing all right? Okay, good. Excellent. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Just really be in your video, be in your experience. Good. Eight, two, four, four, and seven. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. Excellent. Looks like we've got maybe another 5 minutes. Okay, good. And if you think you're done, but you haven't played the video, you're not done. Okay, so good. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Good, calm scene. Three, eight, two, and one. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. Very quickly, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this millisecond, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Five, six, two, and four. Okay, good. How'd that go? Good. I have about 3 minutes left to go, and then I'm going to check in and see how you're doing. Okay, good. Lightning fast. Think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far away. When it's gone, calm scene. Just be in your calm scene. Three, 5, 9, and 2. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. Good. Very quickly, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing in this moment, catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 3, 1, 2, 0, and 1. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. All right, good. Last round. Here we go. Very quickly. Think about the memory, whatever's distressing in this millisecond. Catch it, contain it, send it far, far away. When it's gone, calm scene. 4, 3, 9, five, and 6. Okay, good. How'd that go? Okay, good. All right, there's a little bit of content because some of you are going to need to go at the hour, right? So I want to cover the kind of required content we need to cover. Then I want to do a debrief of how this went for you. And yes, with Flash, we should do closure of some type. We just dealt with trauma. And the closure is you have 4 resources, use them. We know they work. You've been using them all session. So use containment, use grounding, right? Use your calm scene if you need to. Load it up on YouTube. You don't have to blink, just be with it. Like use your calm scene to distract yourself, right? And then use sensory grounding, use sensory grounding and containment as you need them. Yeah, good. In every training, I say, if you want to get trained by the original developer of Flash, Phil Manfield, he still does trainings. You can do that. This is a version of Flash. There are many versions of Flash. You're welcome to develop your own version. It's not a trademarked technique, right? Which means other versions of it, are allowed to exist, including yours, right? We've done Flash dancing together, like in a dancing mindfulness context. We've done you can do Flash in yoga. Flash turns any resource into a transformational trauma therapy. Okay, so good. I also want to remind you, I'm doing these trainings. I think there's 6 of them that I'm doing just because I added them and they kept filling up. So I just added more. In the next few weeks, I'm doing 6 of these trainings just for y'all, right? And feel free to share this with if this was helpful, feel free to share this with other colleagues who may need to benefit from this. My hope is to outsource myself. I've been doing this for 4.5 years. I would love for y'all to really take on Flash. Do this, do Flash groups. I will train you like how to do Flash groups. If nothing else, do them for therapist self-care. So I'm doing practice groups like we just did. I do them for 75 minutes, an hour a week. There's one, I think, Tuesday, right after the Flash training next week. So come to it. I'm going to send you the link tonight in the email that I'm going to send as a debrief to this. I'm going to send you the link to that practice group. I'm also going to send you the link to the other versions of this training that you can do. I also do 6-hour trainings that you can come to, and you can practice this in 3 different ways. You can practice it in group, you can practice it in individual, and you can practice it self-administered. You get to practice it in all 3 ways in the 6-hour training. Use your training material. There's way more in there than we covered. It takes very little time to read, and almost every question you have is likely to be answered in that. And then bring your other questions to consultation. I do 2 free consultation groups a month that you're absolutely allowed to come to. They're free, right? And my goal is that if you're not seeing your clients resolve whatever they're targeting almost every time in every single session, come to this group until you are, and you shouldn't need to come more than a few times, right? So, what was your experience with this process? What was your experience with it? Feel free to unmute and say if you would. If you're comfortable doing that. If you're not comfortable doing that, that's okay.
This was wild.
Yeah.
I found, sorry to just jump right in.
No, please.
What I found over time, like with the multiple different memory snippets, is I had to hone the memory in even smaller than I originally thought I needed to. And I fixated on different facial express, like one single facial expression within that memory. And the narrower the bean or the slice got,
No.
the better it worked at not over activating me.
Yep.
It was really
Yep.
helpful.
Good. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Other challenges, it's also nice to know, did anybody struggle? Because there are plenty of people who struggled. Yeah. What was
It
difficult in it? Yeah.
feels counterintuitive almost to not let my body feel it.
Yes.
My urge was to be like to lean into the body sensation, like, no, no, don't do that. It
Yeah.
it was very jarring to pull myself back out of that. So that was
Absolutely. And how did it
interesting.
go? How did it go when you did?
I mean, it worked. It almost I almost had this like I'm doing it wrong message
Yeah.
because because I also do EMDR, so I'm like lean into the
Yeah.
body sensations. But
Yeah.
once I kind of got comfortable with that, it flowed really quickly.
Awesome. Yep. Flash, one of the hardest parts is there's not enough distress in it for us or our clients to believe that it's real, right? But many of you here resolved a memory and you barely had a bad catharsis at all. Does that make sense? You just had a little bitty, little bitty tiny things with it. So Flash challenges very long held assumptions about what healing is, really since Freud and Breuer 135 years ago, when they told you you had to go to therapy and kind of lose your shit a little bit. Maybe you don't. Maybe we can process the information as information rather than as distress, especially using our newer, kind of more evolved understandings of what a brain is and how it learns and how it may unlearn experientially. Yeah, good. All right, questions.
Yeah, I have
I
a
found,
question.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
When with the thought itself, the micro slice, right? We're only focusing on a really small portion of the thought. Once we get through that, are we going through the additional parts of that thought, or we're only just focusing on that micro slice?
Once after a little bit of time, you're going to have to search for what's activating next. Does that make sense? At first, things just poof, like they just jacking the box up, right? And after a little bit of time, you have to start to search for it, and then you do the video.
Thank you.
Yeah. And who popped in that? Is it yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I find difficulty in the slicing
Yeah.
process. Um, and I know for me that's where I get stuck, and
Yeah.
that's what um makes it difficult for me to help my clients find
Yeah.
that process.
Yeah, it's the hardest part. It's
Yeah.
the hardest part. So what we do is, again, what we can practice is using things that are not trauma. So again, we can go up to a cabinet and we can open it and close it really, really quickly. See, we almost want the opening and the closing of the door in the memory to be so practiced as a motor movement that what opening means also means closing it. Does that make sense? We're not used to doing that. And we just intuitively, with trauma, we just throw the door open. And you know what we do then? We're like, and then can you believe what he did that other time? And then that other time, and that other time, and then the time they said, oh, and we just leave it open. We're just used to doing that. So the micro slicing is easily the hardest part of this. And it's where things go sideways when they go sideways. It's really, really hard to do. But once you become a ninja at it, it's awesome. Does that make sense? You can like process almost anything with remarkably little distress, but it's a practice. It's a practice.
Yeah, and
And
I think it's harder for me. I learned four blinks first,
yeah,
and that the way I learned it didn't require the micro slicing, and I'm EMDR certified, so
yeah,
like I'm just not really. I want to be able to use this with my clients because I do find it useful when their memory
hmm,
trauma memories are too hot for EMDR.
yeah,
The micro slicing is really, really hard.
yeah. It is. It is. You're absolutely right. And it's a requirement. I mean, to do it in this version this way, right? There are other versions of Flash where they're not that picky, but yeah, but we're trying to make this really reliable, predictable if we can. Yeah. Awesome.
I have a question about, I guess one thing that came up for me, my video was huskies and kittens,
Hmm.
but it was only about 5 minutes long. So
Yeah.
I guess we really should ask the client to pick a video that's kind of
Yeah.
longer, right? Because, and then I started,
Yeah.
it takes you to a very similar
Yeah.
other videos,
Yeah.
but
Or we can show them how to make a playlist and save a YouTube playlist. Because even with a free account, you can make a playlist where the videos just play one right after the next.
that's true. That's a good
Yeah.
idea. The other question I had was, and this is specific. What I mean, I'm just gonna share. The memory I had was about 8 months ago. My brother passed away, and I just saw him in the hospital bed, and that was just like it was just. I thought that was a micro slice because it's just that moment,
Yeah.
right? Um, but it's like I didn't move on from that. You know what I mean? I came
Yeah.
back to nice, but it was like, and then I started seeing like the machines in the hospital,
Yeah.
and but I don't
Yeah.
feel like it's like it's
No.
it's
Yeah.
I guess it's just grief. Grief just came
Yeah.
back,
Yeah.
and that's
And
what it is.
if grief, when we need to feel it, that might have been way too complicated of a first memory. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? It may have been just too, and if you're in the middle of you're grieving, and you know what I mean, grief. So yeah, maybe try to find a memory, try this, but try to find a memory that's maybe not grief saturated. We want to work toward obstacles to grief, the kind of memories that where grief may be stuck if we have any kind of guilt, shame, blame, responsibility. But
Mhm.
again, we grieve by grieving. Does it make sense? And we grieve by grieving, and we're going to target the memories where we're kind of stuck and maybe guilt, shame, blame, responsibility, or maybe where the aspects of someone passing away, those sensory experiences are stuck, right? So yeah, grief's a complicated place to start with because we have a lot of the stress that comes. And if you're really like new and flash, you may not know, do I contain this? Do I feel this? What is this? Is this sadness? Is this the sadness that comes because the way trauma stuck? Or is this sadness because I miss my brother? What is it? So, yeah.
So when we, um, you know, facilitate this for clients, should we like with how we do an EMDR, like, should we say from a suds of like, 0 to 10, pick something that's lower
Yeah,
for the first time, like a 2?
absolutely. Yeah, but not a brother passing away. Not
Mm-hmm.
for a first target. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I had two thoughts.
yeah,
One thing to share is I used a Facebook reel and that makes me laugh every single time, and they repeat over and over. So I didn't have to think about it. They're short, so I didn't have to think about what to do when it ended because I knew it would just start over again, and that was helpful. Um, but the thing for me during the process was that it was hard to when you were asking us to connect to the distress, I'm somebody who processes very deeply, so my pace is much slower.
yeah,
Um, so I was not able to do it as quickly as you were like saying, put it in the box, and
mhm,
I couldn't keep up with that.
yeah,
I tried and it was false. So I knew the process would not be working. So I
yeah,
just took my time to connect, you know, until I knew I was connecting. And it didn't take a lot longer,
yeah.
but that was okay, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Remember that an individual session in a group, I have to target the mean of the group. Does that make sense? In an individual session, I'm saying very quickly, think about the bad memory, whatever's distressing, catch it, contain it, send it far away. Let me know when it's gone. So I'm waiting for you. Do you know what I mean? And then load up your calm
Mm,
scene. Let me know when you're there. And I'm waiting for you. So I can really custom
yeah,
tailor this
that's
to
nice.
your pace. But in a group,
Yeah.
it's hard. So what I say in a
Yeah.
group is get out of sync with me. If there's something you need to wrap up, get out of sync with me, and then just be in the parts of it that you can be when we are in sync.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's the problem in Flash. The advantage of being able to do Flash with 125 people is that probably 100 of them are going to resolve something in 45 minutes. The disadvantage is I can't give any one person like extra time. Do you know what I mean? Because all the rest of the group it's we
Yeah.
haven't figured all that out yet. So, um, yeah, good.
Makes
Any
sense.
other questions?
I have a question.
Yeah,
So I just got myself signed up to do EMDR therapy for disaster relief.
yeah,
And so if I'm doing therapy, and I'm in Minnesota, if I'm doing therapy with people who are wanting to process acute trauma, that's pretty big. Um, you asked us to try not to find something that's like a 10,
yeah,
right? Um, if in this particular framework, I only have a handful of sessions with
yeah,
folks, um, how do I help them manage choosing the memory that's like helpful but not too big?
yeah. You're in a very specific context, and when you have to work in a very specific context, you work in that context. What I would suggest is can we do a little bit of a history, right? And identify memories that you're going to probably need to work on and resolve in the limited time that we have together. And can we start with the one that's maybe not the biggest? Can we start with one of the ones that feels a little bit more like if we were to talk about it, you'd be able to handle it talking about easier, right? Does it have a little bit less volatility in it than the others?
Okay.
Just because, just like with EMDR, especially with pretty significant complexity, you're just better off not starting with first and worst unless your client is already somehow a flash ninja. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So in that context, yeah, line up targets and do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. But if you have time to go slow, you're going to get that much done much faster by starting in, right? But if you're in a context where you just have to get in the car and go down the interstate really fast because you only have a little bit of time, then that's one thing. But if you have time, you're going to save time by using the time with good preparation. Yeah. Good. Questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
If there's a slice of memory that is a physical sensation, I had some like that, and I found it hard to process or take a slice of that without feeling some amount of that sensation. Is that okay? I mean, it seemed like it
Yeah.
would feel okay, but
Yeah,
yeah.
that's why we have the container resource.
Okay.
I'm not the container. The vacuum is for body-based distress. That's
Okay.
the resource that we use when we're trying to catch it here, but it just flies straight into the body before we can catch it. That's inevitable. It happens. Use the vacuum, right? Or use grounding when it does, depending on the size. Yeah,
Okay, great. Thank you.
awesome.
Oh, I'd like to tag on to Laura's because that
Yeah,
brought up the question I was going to bring. One of the things that comes up for me that I'd struggled with Flash before, and I've found ways to work on it for me and for some of my clients, is when the sensation is a unfinished movement, like the flash of the memory is the need to push somebody away, and containing it feels like you are pausing the unfinished movement again. What do you do with that?
yeah. I'd say push them away. Right? I'd say
Yes.
push them away, right? I mean, as a matter of fact, that's kind of what we're doing. That's why I like that's why I like that. But yeah, you can absolutely
Yes,
complete,
that's
you can
that's what I do.
complete the movement. You can
Mhm.
anytime, I'd say this is probably true in any psychotherapy. When someone's stuck in an impulse, complete the impulse, right? And then go into your calm scene.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I have a question about the future. It was brought up in the chat a little bit.
Yeah.
So again, in Minneapolis, helicopters overhead right now.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Mhm.
That thinking about the future scene. When I think about that, right, and this is for me, and it's like I can think, okay, I could think of that distressing option or that thing, or like my brain goes like in a lot of different directions. And I guess I wonder if you can give some examples of like what would be a helpful future scene to focus on in a situation where you are not physically safe
Yeah.
or are not sure, like all the different variables of things that could happen.
Yeah. I would say what's coming up a lot now. Is it helicopters? Is it vehicles in the road? Is it more bad news that's coming through your text? Do you know what I mean? What is it?
Yeah, in that moment, when I tried it, when I was in it, the first thing that came up was like my own physical safety,
Yeah.
like something's going to happen to me. Um, and I don't know like how, like, do I just, is the goal then to kind of sit with that long enough to where you desensitize to that?
No, the goal is to find a memory where you would like your response to be different than it is. Does that make sense? So if you can identify, for instance, if you're in your counseling office with a client and y'all are working on this and you hear helicopters overhead, your focus probably should be on your client Does that make sense? And you know what I mean? And really attuning with your client. But if you're like, you'll almost, you know what I mean? Do you see what I mean? So I'm not sure exactly what we need to target, but it's hard doing trauma work in a war zone. It just is. But we have to meet ourselves and we have to meet our clients where we are. Does that make sense? So we're not making something, we want you to be anxious if you are at risk, right? We're not trying to take anxiety from you if that anxiety is serving you, right? If people are shooting at you, you really do need to be hypervigilant when you're moving around, outdoors. So, but if you're having responses that are larger than are needed for you to sleep, do you know what I mean? Are you to actually get the rest that you need to serve your family and serve your clients? Then we may be able to help turn some of that down. It's really hard to work in the future if you haven't processed enough in the past. And who has been able to process enough when things are happening at a rate faster than anybody can process it? So start with the past first, process the past, see what that connects to, and then do a little bit of work in the future. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. There's no perfect here. Does it make sense? We're just gonna try to help people do better, feel better. We're gonna try to help each other survive. We don't have the means to fix any of this right now, right? But if we can process some of what we carry, then that might make next Thursday a little bit less heavy. May be able to sleep a little bit next week then. Good. All right. Thank you all for coming. I would love for this to be the beginning of the conversation. And I'm a busy person, but I just made 15 hours out of an already busy week. I'm in this as best I can. I want to help you. Does that make sense? So come to the consultation, come to the processing groups. We're going to figure out microactivation. You may need to really figure that out yourself before you can really help some of your most sticky clients with it. So let me know how I can be helpful. None of the things going forward are going to cost you anything. The consultations are free. They always have been. The weekly practice groups where you can come, they're free. They always have been. Okay. So let me know how I can be helpful. And hopefully this is the beginning of the conversation. But I think this is the moment for things like Flash. I mean, Flash, I quite literally think that if we can heal trauma without distress, even with the people who have no adaptive information at all, if they can do Flash and can heal with remarkably little distress, remarkably little risk of decompensation, I think that's how we're going to rescue ourselves as a species. If we have any chance of doing that, that's a pretty cool tool to have in the toolbox. Whether you're a therapist or I think we need to figure out a way to show Flash to our children, and we certainly need to show Flash to our parents, right? Probably our grandparents if they're still around, right? So, thank y'all. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming, and thank you for letting us spend this time together. And be in touch. Be in touch. Bye, everyone.